Hello. I'm up really close. Ooh, I'm just big in the face. Good evening. How's everybody doing this evening? I was like really went up close. So as you can tell, I have no makeup on, so it's gonna be that kind of night because I had the vaccine on Tuesday. What day was it? Wednesday? No, Friday. See, it's gonna be like that. I had the vaccine on Friday, so this is day two after, and just the two, I guess day three technically, but I woke up in like a lot of pain yesterday in my arm, of course, like everybody says. And then, of course, I was like sluggish. I felt very run down. Last night at work was really a chore. It felt like work last night because I'm like, oh my God, I'm so freaking tired. I can barely get through this show. And they were like, and of course, always at the end of every show at Barcode on the weekends, especially Saturday, they're like, do more, do more. And the show usually goes like at 2 o'clock because they keep asking for more. I cussed everybody. I'm like, that's the end of the show. I'm going to go home. I'm not doing nothing else. Good night and goodbye. So I want to give that extend the shout out to everybody last night, but I had to get home and go to bed because it's like I was barely making it, and my ride home felt like it took 3 days. I'm like, oh my God, please get me home and put me to bed. So anyway, I woke up today. I felt better, but I still feel like I could just sleep all day. And so I've been lying down, watching television and stuff, binge watching some shows. And I watched the Tina Turner documentary. Epic. It was absolutely epic. It was beyond epic. I'm going to watch it again when I'm through with the show tonight because I was in and out of sleep. I was kept nodding off while I was watching it. And that's why I didn't want to watch it when it aired live last night because I knew I was going to be nodding off because I wasn't fully alert. And so I'll probably nod off again tonight too. But so I'll probably end up watching it like 4 times just to watch it one whole time. But from what I saw, it was amazing, and I got emotional. I almost cried a few times. It's really where you're like, oh, I've heard her story. No, there's more to it. There's more story, and you get to hear more about her and her husband and their love story and what a floozy she was. But she said she wanted to. She told him right away, when I get back to town, I want you to have sex with me. It's like what? It's like I have more in common with her than I thought. That's some shit I would say. But anyway, it's a really good documentary. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. Let me put my hair back. Y'all like my shirt? It says trans as fuck. Isn't that cute? Anyway, and I got this shirt on Amazon. Can you believe it? Trans as fuck. And because I was just curious, I'm like, I wonder if there's a t-shirt on Amazon that says trans as fuck. And there was. So literally any and everything you want is on Amazon. All right, let me check the comments before I bring out my cast members in. We're going to be the Spectrum Angels today because I think there's only 3 of us today. Hi. You're going to have to remind me who you are, Jedi Speak. I know who you are, but I don't know you on YouTube. Hi, Zach. Victor, I was so sad to hear you're not going to be with us at Barcode anymore. I missed you already. Hello, everybody. So, like I said, we're going to be the Spectrum Angels today. It's going to be me, Crystal, and Wendy because Charles is out of town, going out of town. Chris, I forgot what he said, and Julie had something was going on. She told me earlier this afternoon. She interrupted my first nap. So I'm like, okay, girl, lay back down. So it's going to be the Spectrum Angels today, but it's just always fun. As you know, the last couple of weeks, it's been like just 2 or 3 of us, and it's been really great conversations. So we're going to bring the ladies right on in so we're really going to be the view today. So let's get it going. Happy to have Crystal back with us. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, beautiful. I love this natural look on you.
Listen, wash face is all I can do. You can see all my years on here now.
Goodbye. Don't do it. Take a compliment.
I'll take it though. Thank you. But
there you go.
I washed my face, put my moisturizer on. I'm like, oh, don't want to put this makeup on because I know I can just put my face right back up in this pillow as soon as the show is over. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get these glasses and this no makeup today. I'm like, because
I don't think the weather helped. I don't think because I've been feeling the same way you're feeling. Just like I've been wanting to sleep all day, so I've been binging this show trying to stay up.
Yeah, it's like And at one point, I was laying there. I'm like, okay, well, since people aren't coming, maybe I should just cancel tonight. I'm like, but no, I don't want to cancel because we don't ever cancel. This is show
Right.
business. The show must go on. So,
Show must go
but
on.
you look lovely. Your hair is beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Let's bring Wendy to the party. Hi, Wendy.
We're all fresh faced today.
Okay. Oh, you
Right?
didn't have your feet on either, Wendy.
No, these allergies have got me like you're
Oh
lucky
my
your eyes are
gosh.
open at this point, Wendy. Oh my gosh.
So we were all on the same page. Listen,
Oh.
you gonna get these natural mugs today. Crystal, you don't have on
Today.
lashes either. You're usually beat too.
Ball face, okay?
I love it. And we did not plan this, y'all. We did not plan this. This is too funny. All three of us are the makeup queens on the show, baby. Put last out, last shadow, everything. But tonight, I feel like, oh, see, this is karma. See, I feel better already. Thank y'all. That makes me feel so much better that I'm in this with y'all. We're in it together. Because I'm like, girl, I'm just like, I'm going to make up. I literally stood there in front of my makeup like, yeah, it was I had a full conversation. I had a full conversation. I'm like, I'm not doing it. Come here, Callie, because I'm not yelling at you all night. I ain't got the energy for it. Come on.
Nope. I went into the bathroom at 6:30 and I went and I looked in the mirror and I just said, this seems like a good time to show off my buddy's hats.
Exactly. It's like, baby. I said, look, I'll put the big wig still on though.
You okay?
I almost didn't take off my bonnet. I almost didn't take off my bonnet. Like, this is as good as it's gonna get. I don't have any laid down edges. I'm looking real back to the roots. Okay.
So we're all on the same time. And I never wear a t-shirt. I'm sitting here in a t-shirt, Jesus. I'm like,
I don't have a bra on.
T-shirt.
I like your
I think
shirt,
I beat
though.
everybody. I love the shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Can you believe it was on Amazon?
Yeah, I'm wearing this one.
What does it say?
Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Oh, was that on Amazon too?
Oh, I love that.
Bitch. Yes, come on, Neil. Oh, I love that, Wendy. Was that on Amazon or did you have it made?
No, that's for I got this from a nonprofit that they do scholarships for, specifically for Black and brown people of color and indigenous people's scholarships.
Oh wow, get the information, we'll give them a shout out and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. Wow. But yeah, I'm always typing in weird things like with the words t-shirt afterwards just to see if it's there. And I'm like, I wonder if there's a shirt that says trans as fuck. And I'll type it in t-shirt. Boom.
People surprised us on Amazon. Amazon definitely surprised me today.
Hey, Shay.
Like, everything. Zach, you want to try to pop in? I'll send you a link, baby. I'll send it here in a second.
I've never met Zach ever. I've only seen his avatar, so that'll be a nice.
Wendy's barely met him once or twice.
Yeah.
He comes in for maybe 5 seconds.
He disappears, yeah.
He's tried to fill in a couple of times, but StreamYard is not his friend. But we'll send him the link. So y'all, can y'all believe we only have 2 episodes left already?
No.
In 2 weeks, it'll be April the 11th, our 10th week. You know, I do 10 weeks episode, 10-week seasons. So in 2 weeks, it'll be 10 weeks. Can you believe that already?
Goodness gracious.
It went so fast.
It went so fast.
But it's been a phenomenal season. I have fully enjoyed. The conversations have been so deep and so good, and especially the last 2 weeks. Oh my God. But yeah, that was the one with me, Wendy, and Chris. Was that guy? We were like an hour and a half, just the 3 of us talking. It's like we lost track of time. It was a really good yeah, the 3 chatty Cathys. But yeah, we have 2 episodes left. I'm very excited. So maybe Zach will get in before one of those is up. We'll see. But anyway, are y'all ready to dive into our topics today?
I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay, so and I didn't do any homework. I did not put anything up there. You're not gonna have any graphics today. Because I had everything. I have them all sent over to my emails and everything. And I usually load them up on the afternoon of the show day. Baby, I looked over about like, girl. It was,
makes me
it
feel
was
even
that day.
better.
It was a girl kind of day, like girl. My reply to everything was girl. Everything was Callie even got girled a couple of times, like girl. So we're not gonna have any graphics, but I have them with the topics written down. So Tammy Duckworth, our first see right now I have a graphic. Tammy Duckworth was threatened to hold her vote in the event that there's not an Asian American representation in the Biden cabinet. And so that got me to thinking, as I put in the group, does identity outweigh qualifications? At what point does this begin to become an issue? And I want to see what everybody thought. We'll start with you, Crystal.
I think that is such a double-edged sword because qualifications matter, especially when it comes of something like that, to be on an administration like that. We
Right.
want you to be qualified, i.e. the last 4 years of our life. So but we want inclusivity as well. So, yeah, we want somebody in there of all different nationalities to get different perspectives and to be able to actually be united. But I don't feel comfortable with somebody just being there just because they're of such nationality. It's not fair, I don't think.
What do you think, Wendy?
Well, I'm going to disagree because I can't. In a perfect world, yes, that situation, I agree with what you said, Crystal. I think that, of course, we want someone there who's qualified. Of course, we want someone there, and we want the whole rainbow of the world represented. But you can't tell me that in this day and age there wasn't a single Asian American or Pacific Islander that wasn't qualified for any position.
Well, do you think they applied for the position? Do you think I think
they weren't even considered. And that's the whole point. Like we're having the same conversation about Asian American Pacific Islanders now that we've been having about for recently LGBTQIA people. Do they belong there? Or is it just identity politics? Do anybody from any nationality, ethnicity, sexual background, or gender, any of these things, they must all be represented in order for us to feel represented. Everybody in this room can understand that representation matters.
Yeah, if you don't have the old saying, the old adage is, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu.
Correct.
So I've heard that.
I've never heard that before, but I like it.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
it's very,
for sure.
it rings true.
Yeah, I don't see how there wasn't a single person who was AAPI that wasn't qualified for at least one of these positions. And I understand why Senator Duckworth is angry.
Do you think do you think she was right to say, I'm going to withhold my vote on issues, though? Important issues that we need. She was going to withhold her vote. Do you think that was the time for her to leverage that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's time to about it right now.
Yeah, it's time to put the pressure on. Just like we've had to, being just a person of color, we've had to do the same thing. We've had to yell the same thing and be in the streets. It's absolutely time. Absolutely, she should withhold her vote because I didn't know that wasn't a thing, and so excuse my ignorance, but I'm glad it's now being told to the forefront.
But I think that's kind of the point. None of us thought about it.
Exactly.
If we're all being honest with ourselves, we don't think about those. No,
I don't
want to say those people, but we don't think about them. We don't.
That group, yeah.
Everything is super diverse in his cabinet, and I was all happy about it until this came up, and I was like, wow, yeah, I'm an idiot and an asshole.
And exactly. And then when she spoke up, I'm like, and it's the kind of thing we're like, oh, surely there have to be somebody already there, or surely there has been. And you're like, no, there hasn't. Like, oh wow. But I think
this is the first year that I think in a Democratic in the last 10 or 15 years that there hasn't been an Asian American or Pacific Islander on the cabinet. So this isn't something that's just this is not okay. This is not okay. And she was right to speak up and say something about it, put her foot down and say, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. Because somebody had to.
Does it seem intentional? Because like I said, I'm not aware of this,
That's
but
the
does it
thing.
seem intentional?
I don't think that it's intentional, but I think that that's part of the problem, that we need to do things like this
Mm,
with intention.
I agree.
exactly. That's
I
you hit the nail
agree.
on the head there. Yeah, is that's the problem. And like I said, we have to check our own ourselves because we didn't think about it either. It
Right. And
wasn't
see
that we were
the whole thing is
ignorant to them.
it's still a nasty game. Politics is still a
It
very
is.
nasty game. So even though things are, looking to be united, we still have to kind of give them the side eye, and that's why I asked the question, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like, is this an agenda? Is this a plot? Is this what is this?
No, I don't think it is. And but I mean, even if it were, does it matter that it wasn't? Does it really matter? Because the outcome's the same.
True.
Very true.
This is
I
very
like
true.
we like to intention does matter to me as a human being. Intention matters to me. But when it comes to our government, I don't care what the intention is. I care what the government does. I care what the outcome is. I care what the result is. I'm very results oriented.
Yeah.
So I really genuinely don't care if they meant to or not. It happened and we need to fix it.
I think it's like fat people, old people, and Asians are still the ones that are still okay to marginalize and to look over and to talk about, to make fun of, to all those, so to do all of those things to those people, because
Yes.
those are the groups that is acceptable, and because people don't think about it.
Right.
I mean, people make like Asian jokes and Chinese jokes and all this stuff on a regular basis, probably without even knowing that they're doing it, even at this point, because
Yes.
it's become so much a part of the lexicon of who we are. Like Missy Elliott, why you thing, why you thing? People laugh and they love that part of the song, but was it right for her to put that in that song, making fun of Asian?
Right.
It's like, girl, it's because if somebody had been talking about black folks would have been up in this, girl, get rid of that artist or cussing, that person would have lost some stuff. But it was perfectly okay for her to talk about why you don't take, or they talk about the eyes or the food and all the things. And so,
Or they're fetishized.
very much so. And so I think Tammy Duckworth speaking up was larger than the cabinet. I
I
think
agree.
she spoke up to start a conversation. Like, let's start here. Y'all are doing this, but maybe that'll open your eyes to everything else you're doing. By not doing this, you're also doing this. And that, I think, the uptick on the violence, none of them being considered in the cabinet, I guess that was the tipping point. Like, enough is enough.
Yes.
I think that's what happened with her. Because
Yes.
at first I was very much like what Crystal said in the beginning, no, qualifications matter. But then it's like you just said, you can't tell me what one single person was qualified though. And then I'm like, that's true. But then it's like they weren't even considered. It's like, ooh. So it's one thing for them to be looked over. You can't be looked over if you're not seen. That's the problem. You can't be looked
Correct.
over if you're not
Well,
seen.
and
We didn't see them.
their big response was, well, we have Kamala.
Oh yes, that was the
And shouldn't
rebuttal.
that be enough? And it's like,
Ooh. That made her even more
okay,
mad.
handcuffs.
I was reading somewhere that made her even more angry.
That
Yes.
would piss me off too. Like,
Yes.
don't what?
They
Don't
said
pee
that.
on me and tell me it's raining. Like, don't pee
Uh-huh.
on me and tell me it's raining. The fuck?
Baby, it's like if I was Kamala, I would feel some kind of like, am I just checking all the boxes? Am I the black? I'm the Asian. I'm the woman. What is y'all got?
Yeah,
Filling all the
the
boxes?
card. Yeah, the card.
She's been thinking they got her because she was qualified. No, boo, you checked off 3 boxes, and they thought it was going to set 3 groups to sit
Yeah.
down and be quiet. And all 3 groups like,
Wow.
no, we see you.
That is
And
disgusting.
as far as identity politics goes, until we fix the problems that we have and being a racist nation, I think they need to stand.
That drives me crazy though, because it's usually a right-wing talking point about identity politics. That used to just drive me nails on the chalkboard. It just upset me. I'm sorry if politics do have identity, because people have identities. I'm sorry, that's not a thing. You're trying to make a conjure up a boogeyman. You're crazy.
Yes.
There is such thing. It has to be identity politics because we all have identities.
Yes.
Hello.
And representation matters. I will say this over and over and over. Representation matters. It matters.
It absolutely does.
As someone who's queer, we all know this. I can't understand it as a white person because all I see on TV are people who look like me. That's it.
Uh,
It's everywhere. It's in every movie. It's in every show. It's on TV. It's on the radio. Everything is. It's so white driven that it's like it's impervious.
I remember as a young girl wanting to be white. I wanted my hair to be straighter. And, you know, I didn't want to look nappy and things like that. And, you know, I wanted so much to look like my mom. My mom is extremely fair, you know, and that's what I wanted for myself. So representation is absolutely necessary especially for this country. Like, we are in the eye of everybody.
yeah.
And if we're still not pushing the narrative of being inclusive, it's just going to cause more and more divide. And only God knows where my children are going to be after I'm dead and gone.
Right.
Wow. Well, it's definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on and monitor and keep speaking out about and just try to do better in our own personal lives, I guess. So,
well, they all start with ourselves. We have to address our own biases first.
But there's so many people not willing to be honest with themselves, though. There's just so many people.
Are.
Like,
I'm
not racist
I'm a
against
bad person.
Yeah.
No one wants to think, I'm a bad person.
There's nothing wrong with checking yourself.
Correct. So instead, we justify our biases
instead
of addressing them and tearing them down, which is what we need to be doing. But
let's normalize accountability.
It's hard to do that.
Oh, I like that. Yes, normalize accountability. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's hard, but I mean, we have to do it. We have to address those biases within ourselves first.
Yeah, because for one thing, I'm so sick of people trying to justify so much bad behavior on the internet with that, you know, normalize my toxicity, normalize my bullshit, normalize my bad attitude, normalize it. No, we're not. You're a part of the fucking problem.
Don't get me started on that. That's a whole other topic, but I got time for it. You know what drives me crazy? I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I'm still in the fog. But the whole political correctness stuff. It's like, I'm so sick of people being PC and people are too sensitive. Bitch, you don't get a pass if you no asshole. Fuck you. No. Exactly. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, they're too sensitive. Bitch, you ain't never been able to say that kind of bullshit to me. I don't know who you're talking about or who you're talking to. You've never been able to say that. I'm not just getting sensitive, bitch. It's never been cool. So what are you talking about? People are too sensitive. PC. Girl, fuck you. That just
in real life.
Crazy.
Is that PC enough for you?
That is a pet peeve of mine.
In real life. Oh my God. People drive me nuts with that. I'll just be like,
me too.
Now, if I say that's just people
girl, nothing drives me to 100 faster than somebody saying, people are just so sensitive these days.
I'm gonna my foot up your ass. I'm so
lost your fucking mind. No, that's just crazy. That's just hold it like that. Hold up. We do a whole show on that. That's just political correct in my ass. You ain't never. You want a license to be an asshole is what you want. So, and that's I don't work for the office of issuing those licenses. No, sorry. But again, another show, another topic. That'll be a great topic when we're all together.
That would be a good one.
All right, you guys. Are we ever going to get? This is a segue. But are we ever going to get our healthcare together? I was like, girl, what is going on with the healthcare in America? Do you think that Biden's ever going to be able to get the healthcare done like he keeps saying he wants to do? I mean, what do y'all think about the healthcare situation here in this country as opposed to other countries?
I think it's so fucking convoluted, and it's just first of all, healthcare shouldn't be this fucking
hard.
Like, it's not this hard, and it's not this confusing. Like, as a new adulterer, adulting, I shouldn't be this confused as to what kind of healthcare.
You're an adulterer, adulting, because adulterer is you sleeping with somebody's husband, ma'am.
I'm sorry, not adulterer. I'm sorry. I'm not sleeping with anybody. But adulterer. Adulterer.
There you go. Adulting.
I shouldn't be this confused.
When you said adulterer, I'm like, what?
I'm so sorry.
confessions.
I'm not an
For real.
adulterer. Some
No,
days I want to be. Anyways.
the reason I brought that up, because I don't know, I think I sent it to the group, but I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw Chelsea Handler. I love her. And she said,
Love her.
I spent the day with a ski guide in Canada who pays $14 a month for health insurance. In Canada, if you make under 35,000 a year, you get health care for free. What the fuck is wrong with our country and why can't we take care of our own people? I saw that and it clicked in my head. I'm like, what is going on with our healthcare and is it ever going to be okay? And so that's why I wanted to just throw that topic. It wasn't out of left field completely, but I just like, let's start the healthcare conversation.
Yes, let's
Go ahead.
start the healthcare conversation. As far as do we think Biden will ever get anything across, I have no idea. I have no idea. I'd like to see that happen. But
Of course.
I think he's too centrist, honestly. I think he's too in the middle for
Mm,
for American centrist, which is actually extremely conservative in
yeah,
the rest of the world. And the rest of the Western world, anyway, our conservatives are considered almost Nazis, and our
they really
what
are.
we call socialists are like centrists in other countries. So in our
Um,
country, we're so far behind you guys. I can't understand. No, I can understand why. But I guess because I understand, I can't understand why more people don't understand how ridiculous it is that we
Mhm.
can't figure out how to have universal health care.
I think because right now we're so tribal, and people are being told it's especially I hate making a left right issue, but a lot of people on the right have been told that it's going to destroy the country, and not knowing that half of them would benefit from this, but they've been told that this is bad, and they're like lemmings just going along. It's like, oh, it's going to be bad. Okay, then he said it's
Well,
going to be
that's
bad.
because
It's going to be bad.
they
It's like,
think a
you
broken
idiots.
leg in the whole world costs $10,000 like it costs here. It doesn't cost $10,000. It costs a couple $100.
Yeah.
People go, Charles brought up a comment about how people come from other countries to get health care in our country
I thought I
from
saw
other
that, but I wasn't
countries
sure I
that,
was reading that right.
yes, they do. They will come over here to speed up the process from Canada. Some people in Canada hate the thing, and they have money to come over here and do that. But
Now,
not
do they
only
hate it in Canada because it's crowded, because it's so inexpensive?
because there's wait lists and they don't want to
Okay.
wait because their system isn't perfect. There's no way to have a perfect system. There's no
Well, you
way.
got to figure it with free health care, with I hate saying free, but with health care for all like that, I guess there would be a backlog.
Yes, there's a
Yeah.
problem with some of that, but here's the real statistics that I want y'all to pay attention to. Okay, in countries that have universal health care, they have a higher lifespan. They'll live
Mm,
longer. They're going to
I
live
can see
longer.
that.
Not only are they going to live longer, but they're going to live a healthier life because people who have universal health care actually go when there's something minor. Whereas right now, with people, even with insurance, they won't go to the doctor because it's so expensive that they
Yeah,
can't afford to get the care that they need when it's something major. Why would they go when it's something minor and find out that, oops, yes, you may only have a small bit of pneumonia, but oh, we found this speck on your lung that we could have got early
yeah.
if they had
mhm.
gone in. But now the next time they find out they've got stage 3 lung cancer.
And I was gonna say a healed person is a lost customer. I feel like that's how the United
Ooh,
States treats us.
you better say that
Because
again. A healed person is a lost
it's a
customer.
lost customer because we, big pharma or,
That's deep right
all
there.
these pharmaceutical companies are, they're working with them. Like I don't want to sound all, but it's like it's hand in hand. We're not gonna get universal health care as long as these pharmaceutical companies are making the type of money they're making.
As long as not only they making the money that they're making, but they're funneling it into our government. They need to stay out
Absolutely.
of government.
Absolutely. I
Well,
The
and
agree.
I have a thought, and it's off topic, but it's on off topic, but on message. So when the outbreak of coronavirus, COVID-19 happened last year, literally if you were making perfume, you were stopped and asked to make hand sanitizer. If you were doing this, you were asked. Everybody, the world stopped to get well, all of America stopped. All of our scientists, everybody stopped to get a handle on this virus. Why do you think that wasn't done with AIDS?
I think that's
Because
obvious.
far more people were dying from AIDS than in the 80s.
I think
And
that's
like,
really
oh, well,
obvious
girl, they wouldn't even
because
put it
they
on the
were
news.
expendable people.
Yeah, they
And
wouldn't even put it on the news. And so it's like, girl, oh, well,
They
the
were
gays are
expendable
dying.
people
Oh,
because in order to address AIDS properly, they would have had to address homosexuality properly. And
absolutely.
they
I
would
was about to
rather
say the
watch us
reason they
die.
put crack in black and brown neighborhoods back when the 80s happened, when the crack epidemic started.
Because they
It's
would
the
rather
same
watch us die.
reason.
They would rather watch us die than address these things and change.
Absolutely.
yeah. And because it was another topic that was on my timeline. Uh, FYI, if you ever want to change your conversation or change your day, change the people who you follow on Facebook. You can unfollow
Hmm.
people on Facebook. And I'm just all over the place, but I unfollowed like 1 million people. No, really, I'm like, okay, I don't know you in my regular life. Why am I following you? And I
Hmm.
started following people that I love the way they think, and I love their outlooks on life, and I love the things
Hmm.
that they I started following those people. And then some other, what the algorithm changes once you stop following people, it adds some of your other people in. And so everything, I've noticed that my whole day has changed based on what I'm seeing throughout the day, and topics coming up like this about real topics coming up instead of what happened at the drag show 2 weeks ago. And so nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying you can't just have all a steady diet of that one thing. But this was one of the things that came through, and I'm like, because they're like, well, if this had been, why didn't this happen with AIDS? You have to ask yourself, why didn't the world stop when it was AIDS? Because far more people died in the 80s, especially the 80s, the early 80s, than with COVID-19. But it was almost like,
Well, because it
it
was
was just
killing
a spread.
people that
And
were
a couple of
expendable.
scientists, a couple, think about how many, what, 3 or 4 in the entire world of scientists, 3 or 4 scientists were working on this. And it's not that they couldn't have cured it by now. It's the simple fact that there's only 3 or 4 scientists in the world were working on this.
They
Yep.
didn't want to cure it. They
They
But
don't
didn't
want
want
to
to.
cure it.
All
COVID
it does is
19
kill queer and brown people and black people
COVID
because
19
it's
pops up, and
Absolutely.
every scientist in the world has stopped what they're doing. We must fix this immediately.
Yeah.
because
And
it'll kill white grandma.
Because it'll kill the white people. It's
it's
crazy how that
crazy though.
works.
And
That's
and
just
and
crazy.
I wonder what if non-gay people are wondering, like, do they even see that? Do you think
No, I
that's
don't think so.
crazy?
I think what you're doing by purging your friends list is something that I need to do because with everything that's going on, I've been seeing a lot of just a lot of crazy stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
homophobic stuff on my timeline. And I'm like, who are these
Hercules, I suggest
people?
I haven't made a post about it because I don't, again, I don't post everything that I do like that because they're like, I'm gonna get rid of a lot of people. Let's get rid of them. Why are you telling
Just
everybody?
get rid of them.
Let's get rid of them and keep it moving. Why are you telling people? You want to be
Mhm.
the badass of Facebook. Okay, girl, unfollow. Unfollow because I see where your
Badass of
priorities are.
Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot of people like that. Wendy, y'all know we got a lot of people like that out there in our community that are the badasses of Facebook. They want to be the one that got somebody together, or they're ones that said the clever things. I don't want the people that are saying clever things. I want people that are doing clever things. And so
Oh,
again,
oh, oh,
purge,
oh,
purge,
oh.
purge, purge my list. And
Let
I'll
them
tell
know.
you, it has changed a lot. Like I said, I like food for my thought. I like food for thought. Make me think about stuff.
Yeah,
Motivate me, elevate me. So you have to change those people. You don't have to unfriend them. Just don't follow them.
That's
And
yeah.
right.
it changes. It changes. But anyway, we got way off topic that time.
Well, but I mean, but it kind of didn't because here we are sitting here literally you're talking about how the AIDS epidemic wasn't processed the same
With
way that the
healthcare,
COVID
yes.
epidemic was. And that leads us right back to identity.
It does. You know
It's
what? It really
right back to
does.
identity because it was a subclass of people that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I don't see how it is one of those things where when you have like 2020 vision. It's like, how can you not see what I'm seeing? How can you not see that? Y'all saw how these people were dying. They're making movies. Oh, there's a great movie on HBO Max called It's a Sin. It's a television series, 5-part series called It's a Sin. It's about the AIDS epidemic in London when it first happened. It's incredible. But it's like, like it wasn't even happening in London. It was like girl, it wasn't even happening. They were ignoring it, pretty much like they were doing here, until it was just full on people dead. They had them in locked wards in London. They would lock them in the thing. They couldn't even get up. They couldn't even leave and go to the bathroom. And they would put a bucket or a toilet thing in the corner, but they would lock the door where they couldn't get out. And this was in London. This was in the 80s. It wasn't like 1,000 years ago. This was in the 80s. They were doing that to people, locking them in there. People had to get, their families had to get attorneys and things to get them out of the hospital.
Yes.
It was crazy. It was it's only 5 parts. It's a really great show. But you see all these shows and stuff, it's like, okay, so y'all have to see how people were treated. So I think that the LGBT or us as humans and Americans should start demanding something. Okay, you can do something, obviously. If you can take care of this in a year, y'all can do better. Yes, you've got these medications that are keeping people living longer. You could probably have a cure by now, though. I'm sorry, I feel like they could.
Yes, look at Dr. Sebi. Like Dr. Sebi is gone. I don't know if you all followed his work. His
Dr.
work
Sebi.
He was a naturalist. His mother was she was a slave, but she was a naturalist. And he believed in the herbal ways of living, an alkaline life, and he cured herpes. And once he had the cure for AIDS, and he went to different governments in Africa and different governments here, and all different, they don't want it. He was like, they don't want it. I encourage anybody to go and look at Dr. Sebi's work. Nobody wanted it. And it's so funny how now all of a sudden, even though he was older, just a couple of years ago, he died of pneumonia. This man is healthier than me, and he was in his 80s.
Is this a shadow government thing? You think they killed him? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it was such a.
I'm not saying they wouldn't have. Tell me.
I know that's
saying they wouldn't do that.
But it's so public though. It's so public, Now it's public because he's gone. But even his children went on radio tours just to talk about his work. They still try to, push his herbal products and things like that. But I encourage anybody to look at it.
Wow, I never heard about him. I have to look into
his interviews even goes into details about it and how he was like, I went to all the, especially Africa where they, died in mass numbers. Like here it is. And
they were locking them in Africa at the time. It was talked about it in the TV show. Mm-hmm. They were like, they weren't even wars. They were just locking them in rooms. Like just a whole bunch of people that's still in there. And they were like feral animals. And they were dying that way. So it's a really good show. It was interesting to see how other countries, because every show about the AIDS epidemic that I've ever seen has been about the American, what happened in the United States. It was interesting to see how it was affected in other countries. It was really good.
Yes, Americans like to make everything about ourselves, but we forget that it was a global pandemic, and it's still a global pandemic.
People forget that it still is
a global pandemic. It didn't go away.
It never went away.
It's still here, and we never learned from it. So no, we're not going to learn from COVID. No, we're not going to because here's the thing. People who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And people who do know history are doomed to watch people repeat it because nobody is listening.
They're doomed they're going to watch people repeat it. Yeah.
Nobody's listening.
That's true, though. It's true.
It's so true. Yeah.
Like, okay, well, but you go watch them repeat it, girl.
So I just sit back here shaking my head at people just
that part.
You're like, oh, we're at that part of the movie. Okay, got it.
I've seen this before.
I get to the bathroom right here. I know it's going to happen right here. Let me go to the bathroom. All right, you guys, we're going to bring up our final topic tonight. And Zach is joining us. So it's perfect that we're going to our next topic. Zach is joining us. Hi, Zach. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing?
We're good. Good. You're the Julie because you have a painting behind your head. So you're the Julie.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So we had another mass shooting here in Houston. Here in the United States, there was the murder that just happened with a mass shooting. And again, it brought up the assault rifles ban and all of that. So what do y'all think we're ever going to get this situation in hand with the guns? What do you think, Wendy?
Oh, me first? Good. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
All right. This is such a bullshit thing that we're still having to have this conversation.
But let me say this real fast though, Wendy. Hold on. And days after it was after the assault weapons ban was lifted, had just been lifted in Boulder before. Just add that part into the conversation. Go ahead.
That's correct, because those laws actually worked. We had them
Mhm.
nationally and they actually worked. These mass shootings went down. It actually worked. People don't
Yep.
want to talk about that, but it actually worked. And they still won't do it because why? Because it feel like it's infringing on their freedoms. But I mean, I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand that we are. I think we should treat weapons the way we treat our vehicles. We have to be licensed. We have to take 3 tests. We have to continue to show that we're checked on our licensing. If we screw up,
Yeah.
we get tickets. If we have to pay higher on our insurance, everything has to be insured. I mean, if we treated guns half as well as we treat people who have to drive, let alone their cars, if every gun had to be registered and taxed and you were only allowed to buy it under certain circumstances at a certain age, you had to pass a background check, you have to, have all of these things. I don't understand why we can't do that. Because America,
Right.
like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I can't.
Well, what do you think that comes from? Where does this unnatural love of guns come from in this
It
country?
is absolutally an unnatural love of
Where,
guns.
yeah, where does it come
But the
from?
thing is that they're scared.
George
Okay, they're
Washington.
genuinely scared of their government, and they want to play with their toys.
Yeah.
Yeah. The little boys and their toys. As long as the
They want
NRA
to play with their
say,
toys, and they use the government being scary as an excuse for them to go out into their back 90 and fucking blow a bunch of loads because they can't get laid. So listen, I'm a gun owner. I am somebody who believes in strict training for owning a gun. I
Yeah.
believe that if someone came into my house that was qualified and told me that I shouldn't have a gun, I'd probably believe them and say,
Well, I mean, it's crazy. It's just like healthcare is the kind of thing. Why is this hard? Because, okay, yes, nobody's saying, and nobody has said that you shouldn't be able to own a gun. Nobody has said that.
well, see,
Weapons
here's my
of
thing
war,
though. If you
weapons
think
of
maybe
war
you're going
should
to be
not be
the
on the
one that they
streets.
take your guns, if you think you're going to be one of the ones that they're going to take your guns, you probably shouldn't have one.
have one. Absolutely. When the mass shooting happened in Orlando in the gay club,
Mm-hmm.
I worked for Academy's corporate office, right? When I was working for Academy's, the sports store,
Yeah.
they only took down the advertisement of the sports rifles, assault, things like that, like super, those super guns that shouldn't even be for
On the
regular
streets,
people.
yes.
So working, I got a call. It was a very angry customer. He was so upset that we would just take down the advertisement. And I explained to him, I said, well, listen, we're not making them accessible. We're just taking it down because of what just happened. He went on and on about it's not a big deal. It was just a couple people. We shouldn't be taking down our advertisement. This is crazy. I shouldn't have. And I was pregnant with my son. That's when Philando Castile just got killed.
Yeah.
When all of those murders have. So I'm extremely sensitive to this. And then, and I'm like, you really think this isn't a big deal? But if somebody comes to your house and shoots your people, you going
There
nuts.
it is. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean it's not a big deal?
People? You white cisgender people. Let's get that straight.
Oh,
go ahead, Zach.
I'm just saying. I mean, let me now explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I'm a little bit slow, so explain this to me. Why is it that someone in the normal, how can I say, a person who is not in high power, who is not in our military, What gives someone the right? Why do you need to own or collect an AK-47 or a military age weapon? You are not on the
Yeah,
police force. You are not in the
that's what
military.
I'm saying.
Why
Why is
do
it
you
hard?
need that weapon? Why do
So
you need that?
so the Second Amendment is one of those things that was for us to be able to protect ourselves against our government because of the founding fathers, blah blah blah. The
Right.
thing
But do you
is,
need an AK-47 to protect yourself?
the thing well, see, if you have the entire army beating down your door, then yeah, that would come in handy. But here's the thing. Um, we can't have people keep saying that we need to have equivalencies so that we can protect ourselves from our own government. Well, then, honey, you need a tank, you need drones, you need a whole bunch of stuff because they're not going to send 5,000 troops to knock down your door, Buford.
Exactly.
Okay,
Helicopters and
they're
shit.
not
Yeah.
going to send Listen, Clifford, they're not going to send down all of these people
Clippers.
to do that. They're going to send one drone down your chimney into your living room and explode. You are not on the same playing field, Bubba.
Right.
Exactly.
Do you
We're
think that
not
Joe
on the
Biden
same
should do an
playing
exec?
field. You cannot use these to protect yourself against your government because the government is too big.
It's
Do you
too
think Joe
damn
Biden
big.
should? Do you think Joe Biden should issue an executive order banning assault weapons
Oh,
immediately?
Mm.
Should he do that immediately? Does he have the power to
No,
do that?
no,
Civil
I
War would
don't.
incite as soon as he did it. Like we are.
You don't think he should?
That's dangerous as hell.
No, I don't think he should do an executive order because executive orders are easy to undo.
Mm.
This is true.
I still think it would be extremely dangerous. Even that thought process is
Because
dangerous.
then there
Like
would be World War II in the streets. We could be
literally,
another Civil War.
World War
Civil War,
Three
should
or
I
when
say?
the
more.
when the shit at the Capitol happened, I was literally in
But
fear of leaving the house, and
but
that
that's
was
my whole point, though. Is like with the Capitol insurrection, with white domestic terrorism by homegrown white nationalists here in our own country on the
Mm-hmm.
rise as the number one threat to our country. Why would you still, and you know that they're putting these militias together and they're all out in West Virginia in the hills shooting stuff already. So why would we not start banning this? Because we can see the storm is brewing. We need to
exactly.
cut
You
off their
think,
access to
you
these
think,
guns now because the
Privilege.
storm is brewing.
Privilege.
hello.
Yeah, I was like,
I mean, you'd think that after they stole, what was it, Nancy Pelosi's podium and her computer. You think
yeah,
after that they broke into the Capitol with guns ablazing. You think that
yeah.
maybe we should stop these people from having weapons of this magnitude. But
But
no,
nothing happened. And you know what's funny though? I just thought about that. It wasn't even a discussion about guns after the insurrection. Nobody's even talking about it. Not really. That
They don't
wasn't.
want to piss off the NRA and the
That
money
wasn't
that
the first
comes with
thing.
the
Who is
NRA.
bankrupt,
fuck
by the
the
way?
NRA. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I have.
I was gonna say that.
When
They
they
ain't got
said
no
that they were
money.
moving to Texas, I was like, let me get the fuck out of here. Get my black ass out of
It's a
here.
trade-off. We got Tesla, but we also got the NRA.
I
So
got
I mean,
children
it's
at my
crazy.
door. I think I'm gonna have to sign off. I got kids at my door.
All righty. Well, you enjoy the rest of your night, Crystal.
I will. Bye, guys. Bye,
Bye,
Zach.
Bye.
Finally, nice
Bye.
to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Crystal.
So I don't know why we can't walk and chew gum at the same time as far as dealing with guns and dealing with healthcare. Those should be the top two. I feel like those should be his top two agendas coming into the office. Those because
I
those are the
agree. I
things.
agree with that. I
Those
think
are the
they
two
should be
things
his
that are
top agendas.
paralyzing this country: the healthcare and the guns.
Yes, I agree.
I mean,
But no,
the fact that like with healthcare, I remember like last year, I think it was before COVID hit, I had to reinstate my insurance here, and there was a period where my insurance was cut off, and I
mm,
found out it cost $350 for my ADD medication
oh wow,
if I don't have insurance. What the hell? I'm like, what?
that's crazy.
That doesn't
Crazy.
make sense. And then
I can only imagine.
I think back to what my mother used to say. She used to say this about health insurance. You know, they don't care if I can't fucking breathe with her COPD medication or inhalers. She would only get 3 a month, and if she ran out, she would have to pay like over $100 for an extra inhaler. She's like, you know what? They
To
don't give
be
a crap if I
free.
can't breathe. if I can't breathe, but they want to make sure I don't whack out. So my lorazepam is covered.
That's
I'm like,
crazy. And it's like when it was like stuff like that, you should have to. I mean, that's your health care. That you should be
right.
able. That's a right. If I don't get this, I can't breathe. Well, if you don't pay
Well,
for it,
see,
you
that's
just
the
won't
problem.
breathe.
They don't view it as
Or
a
what
right. And
about
in fact,
insulin for diabetes? Like,
All of that.
it doesn't make any
people's
sense.
Insulin.
Like how one
lives.
person can only get like half of their can only afford half of their insulin with their insurance. I'm like,
Well, who is the heartless bastard that is just saying, okay, well, girl, you just said, well, you ain't got the money, you just gonna die. Who is that person?
that's how
Big
Who
it
are
is.
these
pharma.
people?
Big
It's
pharma.
crazy. It's
Big
crazy
pharma.
what we've come to in this country. Is like we're paralyzed. We're
You
being
know,
victimized daily, and we don't even.
mm-hmm.
I was just saying
I
we don't
keep
even know it, but we do know it. That's the sad part. We do know it.
we
Yes, we
deny
do.
it. We deny it. That's
Affecting
the
the same
problem.
people. And and
Well,
and not to make this about politics, but do you think if Bernie Sanders had gotten elected, that it would have been different? Though, do you think that healthcare would have become what
yes.
like because that's what he was trying to go for, or even Elizabeth Warren for that matter? Do you think if they
Yes.
had gotten in that they would have attacked healthcare?
Yes, I do. And I feel like Biden right now he feels like his job is to unite our country. So
Yeah,
he's not going to push for a lot of these things, even though he should, because we actually have a majority in the House, the Senate.
yeah,
Now we don't have a supermajority because we don't have the the judiciary branch,
right.
Mhm.
but we do have it in the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So, but I don't think he will push for it the way that he needs to right now, where we could actually get things passed. I don't think he will because he's too focused on trying to unite the country. Um,
Listen, those
and
people that
The
I
country
hate
would
saying
be
those
better
people, but
united if we could all afford health care. I mean, the
it
well, the
country would be
will
better
Republicans have
all
united if
shown
we
be
could
their
all
united
afford it.
if people weren't
the,
worried about whether or not they were going to survive next week because they had to take off of work.
well, Republicans have shown their hand. They're not going to willing to work with him. They're not going to do anything. So he should say, "Screw that. Let's run all this stuff through." Because if we lose the House and the Senate and in 2 years, then people are going to want to turn back the hands of time. But if we do everything now and people start living better qualities of life, in 2 years there won't be the shit thing that they can do because nobody's going to be voting for them to come in and change anything. So that's why they should be doing all of these things now so that the people for the next 2 years they can see for themselves their quality of life go up. When you're going
Yes.
to the doctor and you're not having to pay $300 for your medications and stuff, and you're making
Right.
$15 an hour at your job, you can work one job instead of two jobs and have time with your families. And when you are able to do those things, I don't care who's running for anything in 2 years. Nobody's voting for that. You're like, oh, you want to change it? Oh no, I like what's happening right now. But if you don't do anything, if you don't use these 2 years to do anything, well, no, this first year, if you don't use this first year wisely, we are going to be toast in 2 years.
Yes.
Mhm. You
And
know,
you
if
can
I
put
could,
that on. I put that on Cali. I put that on everything. We will be toast in 2 years if they do not use this first year wisely. Because
you
people,
know,
one thing about Americans, they are result oriented. If you're showing them that, okay, girl, you got more money in your purse. Oh, okay, then you can tell them
oh,
all you want to. But if they see that their life is better, they're going to want to keep that because that's how Donald Trump got in, telling them their life was going to be better. Didn't make it better, so that's how Biden got in. So
you
show
know, if I
them,
could interject for a second,
of
when
course.
I think about the healthcare situation, two things pop in my head, and yes, they are TV references, so don't come for me. But I keep thinking of the episode of Good Times where Florida has the debate with her doctor about
Yes,
how because it is kind of like a stereotype how particularly I would say in the black community is how like people say well black people you'll be having a heart attack and you'll still be going to work. I'm like well
Yeah.
because we can't afford the health care. We can't afford the health care and then like well you eat all this unhealthy food we because we can't afford the organic stuff. We can't afford like fresh fruits and vegetables. We can't afford that. And also I think it's the callousness that happens in the medical care system. I think like
yes,
thinking of like the episode of Golden Girls where Dorothy finds out she has chronic fatigue syndrome and the doctor's like well, maybe you haven't, maybe if you haven't realized you're not 40 anymore, maybe it could just
Yeah.
be because you're older, you don't have a romantic life. Maybe that's why you're feeling so fatigued. And it's like, I wish you could get sick and very scared for a while, and then you would see what's like to be on the other side of the table
The
and
empathy
just,
was empathy is missing a lot too. Yeah.
yes, in the whole country. And I think hopefully it knocked on some people's heads when coronavirus was happening and we were
It
seeing
did.
how callous Trump was behaving. And it's like,
People are still
you think that would have
assholes.
woken up more, you think that would have woken up more people when it's like, basically, it showed he didn't give a crap about us. He
No.
didn't.
And the funny thing is, you brought that up, and I was talking with somebody in my private life about this not too long ago. But and I think it was because they were talking about television from back then, and it's like television shows were like Twitter and Facebook are today. They were platforms, and a lot of the
Yes,
TV shows use those platforms to sit. Like as Good Times had a lot of episodes like that. But the lady didn't have enough money to eat, and she was eating the dog food. They did a lot of serious topics on Archie Bunker, on Maude, on all of those shows in the 70s.
yes,
They attacked social issues and still
yes.
made you laugh. I think
Oh, yeah.
that I think our entertainment has become less empathetic, and therefore that has made us less empathetic. I really feel that way. I feel that's a big
Yeah, I want to
disconnect.
see,
That's one of the things that I feel is very different from entertainment back then as opposed to entertainment today.
I
That's what
don't
I
know.
well,
I
feel.
like,
disagree with that. I think we still have that. Shonda Rhimes brings a lot of stuff to
Well,
the
yeah,
forefront
you
on
know
her
what she
show.
yes,
does.
And
I'll give you
she
that.
only
She
has
does.
what, 15 out? So she's got
You're right. You're right.
she got like 15 shows out and every single
You know
one of
what? I
them are
guess it felt
platform.
but then,
it felt different
but then
because back then
again,
there was only three networks back then. Maybe that's why. I guess
mhm.
I'm thinking like in
Well,
the grander scheme of all of the 500,000 channels we have now.
Sure.
We have a Shonda
well,
Rhimes.
then again,
And because you know what, How to Get Away with Murder was
well, then
very like
again, like,
the cases that Annalise took were very that way too. They were very topical.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Shonda's doing her part. I take it back. Well, I think it
well,
still needs to be more prevalent.
but then again, but but then again, like Wendy said, representation matters.
Yes.
Representation matters, and I think that, like you were saying, it's the because everyone does Netflix and Hulu, and like not everyone has that at their disposal. I don't have Netflix, so it's
Hmm.
like uh, in order to see, like, for example, LGBT content, I want to see it on a major network. I want to see it on the big screen in a major motion picture. Back then, yeah, we had shows like Golden Girls and Designing Women where they were actually talking about the AIDS epidemic and how
Yeah.
they were humanizing us as the LGBT community, where it's like AIDS is not a bad person's disease, Rose. It's not God punishing people for our sins. You
I
still,
remember that
but yet,
episode.
and nowadays, you still see you still see people like saying, it's killing all the right people. I'm like, uh, well, like Dixie Carter says, if God was giving out diseases to people as a punishment for sinning, a lot of people would be at the free clinic a lot of times, and
I
so
remember that
would the
episode
rest of
too.
us. So when I hear about people, saying about like how, you know, like with what happened last week when you talked about the Pope, not sanctifying same-sex unions, I'm like, but yet we have shows like The Bachelor where 10 or 12 people are fighting over one motherfucker,
And they're sleeping
and
with him too.
that's not killing the sanctity of union. Right. Like
Look, that's a whole
where
different
people can get
that's a whole
quickie
different
marriages
show.
in Las Vegas, but it's just representation matters. And going back to healthcare, I'm like, it seems like television media is the only time where people where it gets out into conversation. And I think that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. Our government
Yeah.
officials should be talking about healthcare, not Betty White. But that's
And
just my
on
two
that note,
cents.
I think that's the Betty White is always the perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Anyway, well, thank you, Zach, for joining us today. I'm glad StreamYard let you stay on today. I guess I'll see you
No,
for
thank God.
after
Oh,
dark
and
in a
also I
couple of weeks.
wanted to show you one thing.
Okay, what is it?
Hopefully, and also I wanted to show you this. I wanted to show you this since everyone has their gear on. Just wanted to show off this
What?
for the documentary.
Oh, I love your T-shirt,
It's
Tina.
Tina.
Oh,
Oh, I love that. You know,
Yep.
I don't own one single Tina
So
Turner T-shirt. Isn't that funny? Well, thank you for joining
I am
us.
taking
And
away your Tina card.
well, I have a shirt that says Tina on it, so that's enough. But it's not a Tina Turner T-shirt. I wear it when I go to bookings, so people
Yeah.
they'll understand that I'm the Tina that's for the
Okay.
booking. I'll see you for After Dark in a
Right.
couple of weeks, sir.
Okay.
Bye. All right, Wendy, it's just me and you.
hey, girl.
Well,
Hey.
I I enjoyed our conversation today. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was productive, very fruitful.
I
I
did
thought
too.
it was very interesting. So we have 2 episodes left. What do you think? Is there any topic that we haven't discussed that you think we should bring up in these 2 weeks?
We hit so many today. Of
Oh, I know
course,
what we're supposed to talk about, the NFL and the sex thing.
yes. Oh,
You
we
had
need to
brought it up
talk about the
before.
Deshaun
Yes, because
stuff.
that happened, and you had already pitched it for the Super Bowl episode, and so then the Deshaun thing happened. So we're definitely going to put that on the list for next week. Don't let me forget that.
Okay, the NFL. Bring it on.
So yeah, NFL and why it needs to go away.
Oh,
I'm,
I'd make
I
that
shouldn't,
argument.
I shouldn't say that, but anyway.
I will
So,
make that argument.
is there anything else that you would want to talk about on the show that we haven't
Oh
yet?
my
We have
goodness,
2 episodes
everything and
left.
anything. I'm so down just to chat.
All right, and don't forget to put that information in the group so I can put the link up there for the for that foundation you're wearing. The
I will
shirt.
do that.
I think that shirt is beautiful.
Thank you. I did too.
So, what do you have going on this week before I
Oh
let
my
you go?
goodness, so much. Last night I had my first show at Piggy's Kitchen and Bar in River
Oh yeah, tell
Oaks.
us all about that.
That was so much fun. I had Nick Leray, I had Muffy Blake Vanderbilt III, I had Jewel Seymour and Infinity LaVela Donis. And it was a stellar show. I'm going to have different queens every week where we come. It's every 2 weeks.
How fabulous.
And I get to sing and I get
I
to
was gonna say, are
watch
you
friends
singing
drag.
too? That's great. Good.
Yeah, so obviously, so it's live music and drag.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that.
It's fun.
And that's Piggy's. What's the address?
Oh, it's hold on. Let me look up the exact address. It's on Lamar.
Lamar. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I did a
Yeah.
show there one time with
It's 3412 West Lamar Street.
Okay, I think I did a show there. I think it was with Chloe Crawford a long time ago. I can't remember. Anyway, so Piggy's. That's interesting.
Yes.
It'll be fabulous. Well, y'all make sure y'all check out Wendy at Piggy's every other Saturday.
The next show will be the 17th of April.
And it's a brunch show.
No, it's a night show. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. on Saturdays.
Oh, how fabulous.
Yes.
And the weather's perfect for it right now. So
yes, it is.
All right, well, cool. We'll have a great show. And you're still at Buddy's?
Of course, I'm at Buddy's every Wednesday. I'll be at
You got your
Rebar
Buddy's
every
hat
Thursday
on.
soon.
Do what?
Yes, and you can see Genderbender spin there every Friday at Buddy's.
So wait, you're going to be doing what on Thursdays?
On Thursdays, I'm going to be doing Raise the Bar at Rebar Houston.
Oh,
which
come
is
on,
my
gigs.
singing competition.
How does it feel with your gigs starting to come back in?
Oh my gosh, overwhelming.
Were you prepared?
Yes, it's a little overwhelming, but every time I leave the gig, I always feel so good about it and
Gratitude.
Yeah, and relieved and just inspired again, and it's really nice to be working again.
Well, I'm happy for you because you, like I said, and it's hard to that my Facebook memories popped up today. This was the weekend of my very first Tina concert last year when I did.
Wow!
And it came up. I'm like, oh my god! I looked at it, I'm like, I hate looking at myself. But it's hard to believe that was a year ago.
To myself.
Do what?
I hate listening to myself.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it. So, and Tuesday, I'm going to be at Michael's Outpost doing Pitch Your Tent. I'm going to be judging.
She's a working woman, y'all. Come
yeah. And pretty soon, Tuesday, I'll be in at Rumors in Galveston.
Come through gigs. Hashtag gigs. Oh, that's good. I'm happy for you. If anybody deserves it, it's you, because like you were always there. Like, so you helped me put this show together, and you encouraged me, and you went through it because you just like me. You lost everything at the same time. Like, absolutely no. You went from working several days a week to no days a week, and
Yeah.
people don't realize that persisted for over a year. And it's like, girl, I don't know how hard it is to for it, because when you're a creative person and you don't have that outlet, that can be a mind fuck of its own.
Yes.
So it
I
wasn't
was
just that we
very
lost money; we lost our outlets for our creativity.
yes, it was a lot to go through, but at the same time it allowed me to adapt and find other ways to put my creativity out there, which is what got me back into photography, and now I'm doing digital
Yeah.
photography, and it's amazing, and I've got a whole new career on top of the one that's coming back
Oh my
right
God,
now.
Zach, you're right. Zach, because I met Zach after my first concert, and that's how I met Zach, because he's like the biggest Tina Turner fan that I know.
That's
And after my
fabulous.
first concert, he had inboxed me, and that's how I got to know. He lives in Kenosha, Wisconsin,
Oh
and
wow,
that's how I got to know. I met so many people through those concerts, and he was one of them. But I got to know him through that, and
that's so cool.
it really is. And so that means I've known him for a year now. That's
That's
crazy. I didn't think
awesome.
about that. Like, so this is our 1 year friend anniversary, Zach.
Hey,
But I did, and that was one thing that happened for me. I met so many people through those concerts and stuff. So, but yeah, it was. Here we are, a year later. Well, thank you, Wendy, for a wonderful conversation.
thank you, Dana. It's always good to see you.
And you give my love to the family, to everybody, and we will see you next. Well, we'll see you sometime this week.
Yes,
That's a good sound, ain't it?
yes, it is.
You have a good night.
You too, sweetie.
Mwah. And here I am, back to me. All right, you guys. So, has any? Hold on. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think to ask that, Zach. I'm sure they have. I'm sure they haven't. Probably. I don't know. But anyway, so that was today's show. We had a makeup-free show. Wendy had on no makeup. Crystal had on no makeup. I have on no makeup. Oh, but let me tell y'all, Raina's skincare. I forgot what it's called. I need to be able to give her a shout out because my skin is really. I've been using her healthcare. She's been helping me with my healthcare. She has a scrub and a moisturizer and a serum, and I've been using it, and it makes your skin super moisturized and healthy looking. And at least I hope I look healthy. But I love it. It gives me the confidence to go on screen with no makeup on. So that's a good feeling. So I want to give Raina a shout out. I don't know the name of her company. Let me see if I can find it before I leave real fast. Hold on. My phone is moving really slow today. Waiting in the storm. Why don't you ask me how I feel? Things are going wrong. Okay, so Raina's Royal Chamber Skincare and Aesthetics. That's what it's called. That's the name of her company. Raina's Royal Chamber. I'm telling you, she can hook you up with some really good skincare products, and it makes your skin super supple. And a lady of a certain age needs supple skin. Kelly, don't look at me like you're judging me. She's like, your skin ain't supple. I feel so attacked by you, Kelly. Anyway, I hope y'all had a wonderful time watching the show today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Remember, you're always welcome to join the conversation here at Spectrum. We have 2 episodes left for this season. I'm so excited. So we will catch y'all next week at 7 o'clock. Don't forget our sponsors. We have Love the One You're With Wedding Officiant Services. They are our streaming provider. Thank them for their sponsorship. We'd like to thank Sweets by Elise. You're looking for some good homemade sweets and snacks and desserts. Sweets by Elise is the way to go. You can't go wrong. And then, of course, we have legal services, the TEFA financial services. If you're starting a business or if you have a business, want to get your taxes done, notary, anything having to do with business, you want to go with TEFA financial services. Those are our sponsors. In fact, I think I'm going to run their commercials now. And then we don't have a new commercial, a clip of the week yet, but I think I have one, and I will have that uploaded for next week, definitely. Anyway, have a great week, and we will see y'all next time.
On my horizon, 3 little birds were on my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melody blowing true. And they said, this message is you. They said, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Who can turn the world on with her smile? Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show